Oh, Brittany, later. Can you ride my unicorn?
Why are you laughing like that?
I'm just trying to breathe.
You're listening to the Laughing Couple podcast with your hosts, Brittany and Ryan Ostafy. Join them weekly as they discuss topics such as relationships, kids, sex, parenting, all unfiltered and all with a healthy dose of laughter. Please welcome your hosts, Brittany and Ryan Ostafy.
Viva,
Viva
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
This podcast is brought to you by Viva. No, it's not. We're just going to talk about our Vegas time because...
Could you imagine if Vegas sponsored this podcast?
I'm going to manifest it.
I'll tell you right now, Vegas would have been a totally different experience had they decided to pay for it for us.
We are going to talk about our vacation. There's a lot of juice in this episode.
Is there?
Yeah, I feel like it's more juicy.
Did you do something you shouldn't have in Vegas?
No, I just feel like it's like a good episode because we have so many fun stories.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not
Like,
juicy.
yeah, it is juicy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it was all a dream.
Oh, my. Like
I don't know why I
Biggie?
said that.
Like Biggie juicy?
No, yeah. I don't know why I said that. Like,
You're tired.
I am very tired.
Yeah.
My eyes are like twitching still. Okay, let's do I love you and you're annoying first.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you have one?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Okay.
I don't.
Mine is, I think, an extension of the last time I had one. And I literally said every time we come back from somewhere, it's like the weekends. I'm just the meal fairy. And we came back from Vegas on Sunday and I made every single meal and organized every meal on Sunday. And we were both dead ass tired. And I did breakfast, lunch, and then said, what are we doing for dinner? I guess
How could
I'll
you
order
possibly have done breakfast? We got home at 11:30 and the kids had already eaten.
They didn't eat.
Yes, they had.
Nope. They had half a bowl of Cheerios and they didn't eat them.
They had half each?
They didn't
They
eat the
shared
Cheerios.
one bowl?
The kids were literally so hungry. And you know what? Like, they're like, I don't want food. And you say the same thing when they're like, I'm not hungry. I don't care. I don't care if they're not hungry. You put shit in front of them, they'll eat it. You can't say, no, I don't want food. And now it's 11 o'clock. And it wasn't 11 o'clock.
It was. We got home at 11 o'clock.
No, we didn't. Like 100%, 0%
You want me to
chance.
timestamp my Google Ring doorbell?
I do. I will look at it. It wasn't 11 o'clock. Anyways.
This is an annoying
They
conversation.
hadn't eaten breakfast. So I made them breakfast and then I made them lunch. And then I was like, what are we doing for dinner? And I said, I guess we can order food and I'll go pick it up. And you're like, yeah, sounds great. I'll just do all the things. It's really annoying. So just please keep that in mind this weekend because it's the weekend. And I need help with like, and you know
We're
what?
going to a barbecue tomorrow. Why,
You know what
why
it
do I
com-
have to worry about food?
Sunday's Father's Day. So never mind. I'll be
And
doing everything
Sunday's
else.
Father's Day, Brittany. If I have to make my own meal, which I'm going to.
I just want you to be aware of it because I do it a lot. And it's not even making the food because I don't mind making the food. It's the mental load and the decision fatigue that comes along with all of those things. That is very annoying. As a mom, why are you laughing?
Oh, I don't know. The mental load and the mental fatigue of making a meal.
It's the decision fatigue is a thing that most moms will deal with because they are managing the entire
Is this a
household.
new hashtag? Decision?
No, it's not.
What is it called?
Decision fatigue. I'm so
when
tired.
has that ever been a word?
I am so tired of making decisions for the family. And it just gets a lot. Like, I manage all of that. You just said that the other day. Well, you're like, I didn't know any of these things. All of the forms for Riley's cheer and her school and her camps, all of the form. Why are you laughing? This is actually pissing me off that
I'll
you're
tell
laughing.
you why I'm laughing. Because do you think for 1 second that I don't make decisions during the day?
You know what's really annoying?
My decisions have a ton of weight behind them.
Do you know what's really annoying? No part of me said that you didn't make decisions. I make decisions in my own job. Just like you make decisions in your own job. And I also make a shit ton decisions for the kids and the family, which I'm saying I take the mental load of that on more than you do. We both have jobs.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you don't make decisions in your job. I'm saying for the family, I take on the predominant amount of decisions and like weekly things that go on. Like, oh shit, we need groceries. We need all these things for groceries.
You're good at it.
Because you don't do it.
Because I'm bad at it.
So don't, like, that's not it. I don't know why. I was like in a really good mood, and that was just really annoying that you were like laughing about that because it's exhausting.
No, because you insinuated.
I promise you that there are going to be so many moms that are going to be like, that fucking pissed me off.
Of course they're going to be like that. But don't think for a second that your husband doesn't make decisions.
You are completely missing the mark on this.
He's not sleeping all day long.
Nobody
doing
said,
nothing.
oh my God, Ryan. No one said that the spouse isn't doing anything and making decisions. You absolutely are. It's the family usually falls on a default parent, which is me, for the decisions.
By default.
And it's a lot. And so for the weekend, the decision fatigue kicks in, and it's another thing that I'm like, fuck, like, I don't want to make these decisions. It's a lot. Oh, it's annoying. Okay. I need you to like get on board with how annoying it is.
Okay. It's annoying.
It's so annoying. You're annoying me right now.
Yeah, I get it. I can tell. Oh.
I was in such a good mood.
You are in until a juicy mood today, completely Brittany Marie.
Downplayed that. Ooh.
I wasn't really downplaying it. I was feeling personally attacked.
That's probably because it was true.
It is true, but doesn't diminish the other truth.
There isn't. Oh my God, I don't want to go in a circle. I didn't say you didn't make decisions. We both make decisions in our line of work.
Yeah.
And on top of that, above and beyond that, I take on more decisions for our family unit.
Well, 100% you do.
Go ahead. What is your annoying?
This conversation.
Okay, I'll take it. I don't really give a shit.
No, you know what? This is it's annoying. I think I've had this maybe twice in the 2+ years we've been doing this. And ladies, before I say this, because I know you're going to get heated about this.
Well, maybe you should.
It's annoying. I don't have a problem with it. It's annoying. And it's more annoying for the both of us. It's inconvenient for I can just see it. What?
I don't know what you're about to say, but I'm already angry.
No, it's just like, I'm annoyed by it. I'm not upset about it. It doesn't impact my life in any, there's no heaviness in this conversation, ladies. But when you plan a trip for your spouse and it's a alone time with you and the partner, there's an expectation by all parties that there's going to be some boom boom that occurs. And when you wake up to leave for said vacation and your aunt comes and says, hi, peace the fuck out, all of those plans, they ain't working today. That's annoying. Do I have a problem with it? No. Did I complain about it? No. Do I have any issue with it whatsoever?
Absolutely
no.
Incorrect. You complained about it the whole trip.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
I said, how you feeling, Brittany?
No, that's not what happened.
Not feeling so good.
And we also had sex, so you need to chill out.
Mom is listening to
this is like... that's your I love you annoying. That's what you're choosing.
I didn't say you're annoying. I said that's annoying.
That's not a good
one. You don't
right?
think that's annoying?
No,
Did you not wake up before we left and be like, oh man, that's annoying?
Yeah, but I would never choose that because it's I love you and you're annoying. It's something that I have specifically done that has been annoying to you, and I can't choose.
You did specifically do that.
I think we should move on because I'm getting annoyed with you.
It wasn't intentional.
General.
It wasn't intentional. And sometimes, Brittany, the things that annoy each other about the other partner are unintentional.
Let's talk about how we almost didn't make it to Vegas because of you.
Because of the sex toy.
Because of the pill.
I know. I was joking about the toy.
It basically was a toy because it was so big.
So that's what she said. This is a really cool story. I'll tell you, it's cool because it's over now.
Yeah.
It was not cool in the beginning. So before we left, we scanned in, tried to book our own tickets before we got in so that we could bypass all the stuff that is known as Pearson International. Worst airport in the world right now.
It's bad.
And so we get through and my ticket doesn't print out. And I don't know why it doesn't print out. And it doesn't matter why it doesn't print out, but it doesn't print out.
It says, please see a kiosk person, like a employee.
Yeah, quote unquote, you's about to get inspected like a motherfucker.
Yeah. If you ever try to print your boarding pass and it says like unable to print pass, go see whatever, this is your warning that
pre-warning.
You will be
empty your pockets.
It's a random search, but that's your warning.
So here's the story, but I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory because I think the backstory is equally as important to this story. Because when I tell you the backstory, you're going to figure out the story. It doesn't make it any less
So maybe
true.
You should tell the story first and then tell where you can work your way backwards.
Okay.
Right,
okay. I see how this book is being written. Okay.
The rest is still unwritten.
Yeah. The never-ending story.
No, that's Natasha Bedingfield.
Oh, right. 2 different songs. One's a movie.
Okay,
so here's how the story goes. I'll go right up until I'm about to empty my pockets, and then I'll go back to the backstory.
Okay.
That's how I see this. I just unfolded this whole story in my head. Okay, so random check is not so random because if your ticket doesn't work, you're getting randomly tested or checked. So they test you for all the things, whatever. They inspect you. They put you in the machine. You put your hands up. It does the rotation thing. It shows you all of these things. And so I'm walking through, and they say, okay, big stamp, whatever, SSS or whatever on my ticket. I'm like, is this a good thing? The guy says, well, it depends on how you look at it. I'm like, that doesn't sound good at all. So I come through, and they're like, take my bags. They throw it through the machine. I'm like, am I like, what is going on here? I'm literally in like, I've never experienced this before. I've been randomly tested or set, like when we were in Florida because I was sweating so badly, they randomly checked me. Sir, why are you so sweaty? I'm sweaty because I have 2 kids. I'm in Florida and I hate my life right now.
And we're at the airport.
So anyways, so I'm going through this. Now they're going through my bag like crazy. I'm thinking, oh my God, did I put something in my bag that I didn't know? I'm like, did I put drugs in my bag? Did someone put drugs in my bag? So anyways, I go through, I empty my stuff, I take my chains off, I take my ring off, and I go through this.
You keep beeping.
I keep beeping. So I go through this machine, and they test me, and I look at the animated version of my body, and there's this thing flaring in my pocket. And I'm like, I don't have anything in my pocket. What is going on here? And they're looking at me like something's not good.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't know what's happening. It's just someone jammed something up my ass while I was sleeping. I don't know. So anyways, they're like, sir, can you empty out your pockets? I'm like, there's nothing in my pocket. So I go into my pocket, I reach into my pocket. Now I'm having these like elasticy pants, like they're really cool pants actually. Where did I get those from?
Psycho Bunny.
Psycho Bunny. Yeah, the Psycho Bunny pants. And so really cool pants. And I'm like, oh, wait a second. There is something in my pocket. So I reach into my pocket. I pull out this big, massive red. It looks like a bullet.
It looks like literally Morpheus came with it and was like, if you accept
blue
this
pill or red pill,
you will be going
welcome
in
to the Matrix. So I'm like, oh my God. Now I have a mini heart attack because I have to describe this pill.
And Ryan knows exactly what it is. We should just
I know what the pill is. This pill is in a massive case. It's a plastic case, but on the outside of it, it's all steel. It literally looks like a bullet. You unscrew it. Right. It's like, what form of cocaine is in this pill or whatever high octane drugs that are out there? And I'm like, oh my God. And they say to me, sir, what is this? And in my panic, I said,
my multivitamin.
It's a multivitamin. Now I know I'm fucked because it ain't a multivitamin.
For your dick.
So let's flash back. I'm with a client of ours. They happen to be in the sex industry, this client. And by sex industry, I mean the adult toy industry.
Right.
And they had brought some product in from the United States. Now, this product is a cross between Viagra and Cialis, which I didn't know any of this, just so everyone's clear. But apparently one gets you rock solid and the other one gets you prepped for whenever you want to be prepped.
It's not like a consistent 8-hour
in a 24-hour period of time. So apparently the one of them allows you to do whatever you want whenever you want it, and the other one allows you to do something really aggressively for a very short period of time.
Right.
So anyways, apparently there's this pill, they put them together, and you can do both at the same time. So I remember that I had this pill, and I thought, oh, we're going to Vegas. Now keep in mind, Aunt Flo showed up, doesn't matter. So I'm like, I see this pill in the spare bedroom because I put it up there. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to grab that just in case, I get lucky this weekend. I throw it in my pocket and forget about it.
Forget it. Set it and forget it.
So when I go through the security system, what is it that's in my pocket? A fucking Viagra, Cialis mixture to make one's penis extremely aggressive. And I say it's a multivitamin.
Yes.
The guy looks at me. I look at him. He knows I'm lying. Yeah. Now, lying to those guys is not good. But I had a feeling that this guy knew what that product was.
And you didn't. No, but he also did that thing.
And he was like, he gave me the fist, like, chill, bro.
No,
you're good.
he also took that thing that they
made sure it
wave
wasn't
around
Coke.
it and like nothing lit up. And he was like, be on your way.
He's like,
you
yeah.
were in, it was like the Matrix.
Rock on, son.
But it was Matrix.
Matrix?
Like the Matrix, but like Matrix because it was
yeah.
birthday.
Anyways, could have been the worst.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? I get handcuffed because of Viagra and Cialis. And I didn't even get to use it, Aunt Flo. I would be like, seriously, it's not even for me. Like, what?
Okay, let's talk about...
That's how the trip started.
Yeah. And then we got to Vegas and it was 11 p.m. Vegas time, but 2 a.m. our time. But we stayed up till like 6 a.m.
Smartest thing you can do when you're losing 3 hours, gaining 3 hours technically.
Yeah, try to push
is
through.
you gotta pretend that their time is the time.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, you stay on your time. If you're there for a business trip one day, definitely stay on your time. But if you're there for a trip and you want to have a good time, I don't know what's going on. I did that on purpose. Just to be very clear. Okay. You got to switch it. So what did us two knuckleheads do? 4 knuckleheads. We stayed up till 3:30 local time, 6:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time.
It was wild.
Not a good idea. You can go onto their time zone, stay up to 1 o'clock, and be like, "Well, that was a good good stretch."
It was long.
Don't do 3:30 on your first night in Vegas when you landed. Oh, but by the way, you know what nobody tells you about in Vegas? Now it kind of makes sense because it's like it's Vegas, so you're in the desert. But holy shit, is it hot?
Is this a rhetorical question?
No. When we land, no, get out of here. Don't pretend like you knew it was going to be scorching hot.
Oh my God. I was absolutely prepared for the heat.
We got off the plane. We walked out. Now keep in mind, we're for like the GTA area, Toronto area. It's not known for like being super warm or aggressively warm.
Great summers.
Yeah, great summers. But for the most part, when you get out of the airport, they have heaters on to make sure that when you're standing there looking for your Uber or cab that you're not going to get super cold. I get into Vegas. I'm standing there for the Uber. I'm like, what? Like, who turned the heaters on? Like, why would these heaters be on?
Was so
Buddy's standing
hot.
beside me. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, the heaters. He's like, there's no heaters. This is Vegas, man. You're in the desert.
Sorry, I took my multivitamin.
I'm like, it is so hot. There's not even a sun out.
Yeah.
How is it this hot?
Let's
the
move
asphalt
on.
burnt my legs.
Let's move on to
I wasn't rolling around in it.
some of the stories and the things that we did. So the first thing, like the show that we did, we booked Chris Angel, which literally so many people like told us to go see Chris Angel. And we were like, really? Like, I mean, I loved Chris Angel, but I was young and he was on like TLC, whatever. But I had so many messages being like, go see Chris Angel. So we booked these tickets and they were not cheap. And we show up and I guess we should tell them, we also showed up. We did a gummy in Vegas. So we were doing
our Uber driver.
Yes, she was amazing.
Our Uber driver hooked us up with gummies.
Yes, we went to
because she read crystals.
Yeah, she was awesome.
She was incredible.
She was such a good vibe. So she took us to this
name was
legalized like marijuana store, and we got some gummies, and we thought it would be a good idea to take a gummy and then go see a magic show.
I had drank all day. I didn't want to drink anymore.
You definitely like hit a point where you're like, I'm done.
Yeah, like
this.
I passed out on the couch.
Yeah. So we were like, let's just, and we just did a little bit. I did like the smallest amount.
5 milligrams, next to
nothing. I did
nothing.
less than that because I was like,
Okay,
I'm just,
sorry,
I was just
Saint Brittany.
No, I was just worried. I didn't know how it was going to affect me, but we were going to this magic show. So we go. And first of all, Ryan accidentally booked the tickets for the following night. Mm-hmm. So we originally had like row
I'm not a planner.
Row 2 at Chris Angel, and now we were moved
front center,
yeah,
row 2.
and we
thought,
moved,
man, we might be involved in this magic trick.
And they moved us to the side. Now keep in mind, like a magic show should be very much like aware of all of their angles. No matter where you're sitting, you shouldn't be able to see anything. So here we sit, 4 adults, high as a kite. We were late to the show because they had to fix our tickets. So we're watching this show.
Oh my God.
And like I highly highly recommend
not going.
No.
Oh.
I highly recommend taking a gummy and going to see Chris Angel because it was probably one of the worst magic show I've ever seen.
It was terrible.
But the best experience because we were laughing violently the whole time and like not rudely, but like it was
I don't think
wild.
it wasn't. I think it was rude. I thought we were going to get kicked out.
I was pissed though because they had 4 actors from the audience pretend that they weren't actors. And I don't know if we were just like hyper aware, but they were awful.
Brittany, we were so high from this little teeny gummy, which by the way, in California, I think they just make them differently because they killed us. Maybe it was the sun, maybe it was all the drinks we had earlier, but
probably
like,
all the above.
Oh my God.
But they were horrible. The people were horrible.
Brittany, we were so high that if a fly landed on the stage, we would have seen him. And if a fake fly landed on the stage, we would have seen the string.
I know. Like, hold on. So first of all, Chris Angel is coming out and he's doing like some like magic shit and like there's doves flying. There's like this weird light show. And then he'll be like, mine for, and then he like, it turns into this like DJ, but he looks like, it's everywhere. And it's like, it's just so scatterbrained. And like, he also was wearing this like wig that is like his old hair. And he's got this like
probably
dad
wasn't
bod.
his old hair. It was just a fake hair.
No, his whole hairstyle.
Oh yeah. I'm wearing my old hair. Hey, Gladys, can you keep this hair just in case one day I need to wear my own hair?
No, but he was just like, I don't know, man. And I don't want to talk poorly about him, but it was odd. Like, it was very odd. It was like he got like exiled from a boy band and like they brought him back and he was trying to do this comeback. And it was just like, it was sad. And at one point he did this like, he was supposed to disappear. And like all 4 of us saw him run off of the stage.
We didn't see him run off the stage. We saw him hide under the stage.
We did. We saw his, I literally saw his feet run away.
See, Chris Angel, if you're listening to this,
you gotta wear shoes,
If you're listening to this and you're wearing all black, do yourself a favor and wear shoes. Because the only thing when you entirely disappear that doesn't disappear is your toes.
Yeah.
And we saw your toes. Enter stage left or exit stage left.
We will absolutely give credit to his his levitation was really cool. Like we could not, but this is the thing. Like we were very high, but everyone around us was like, oh my God, like when he was like levitating. And it's wild because you can't figure out how he's doing it. But our whole thing was like, are people like freaked out and they're just impressed because the like
animatronics. Jurassic Park comes out.
No, the logistics of like making this show.
That's not the right word either.
What's the right word? Like the mechanics behind.
There you go.
The mechanics behind making him float.
Levitate. He levitates.
Okay. Is so impressive because you can't figure it out. So like that as an audience, I'm like, okay, I'm impressed with that because I can't figure it out. Yeah. But some people are in the audience.
Oh my God.
Thinking he's floating.
I said to you, I turned to you. Now keep in mind, again, still high. I looked at you. I'm like, are we supposed to actually believe he's floating?
Well, because
do people believe he's floating?
We know it's
a cool trick. Because it is difficult to figure out how he's doing it. And we give credit
to that, for sure.
But are we adults sitting in an auditorium with 400 other adults thinking he's floating?
But like the dude, Tyler beside me was like, he like turned to me. I don't know. This like random dude turns to me. He's like, do you see that? Like he's floating. I'm like, bro, he's not floating. Yeah. Like it was a lot, but it was honestly one of the funniest times of my entire life.
Now I never laughed that hard. And you know what, Brittany? That night made my whole trip because
I could not get it together.
That trip was for you. It was for your birthday. And I really wanted to take you there. I've never seen you laugh that hard for that long. And I thought this stupid Chris Angel show is the best thing I've ever done for this woman. I'm so happy I spent all of this money for this shitty show that is not a comedy act, but my wife is dying.
Oh my God. I can't even tell you.
Here's how high we were.
It was so good.
Here's how high we were on this thing. I don't know what happened. There must have been like mushrooms or something in this thing.
It was wild. But it was from like a legalized store.
I know. I definitely know, but they made us pay cash. So I don't know how legal the distillery was. Anyways,
no, it's fine.
We started we started noticing things in Vegas that I don't think you're supposed to notice. Now, if somebody knows the answer to this question, I need to know if this is legit.
You were tripping hard.
The people sitting in front of us at Chris Angel, your friend DK, noticed that they were actors. And I says, they ain't actors. It's a son and a father. Then I started zeroing in on them, which maybe is why the Chris Angel show was so bad, because I didn't see it. I was watching these guys for a lot. And they were feeding off of our emotions. So if we were like, there's a period of time where we're supposed to stand and I'm like, I can't stand. And so I'm like, I got to sit down. The second I sat down, they immediately went, oh, my legs are so tired. I got to sit down. I was like, whoa, wait a second. And then I started clapping and then they started clapping. Now, keep in mind, I also shouldn't have been clapping when I was clapping. They were feeding off of our energy. And the buddy beside you, I'm convinced he was an actor. I think they fill that arena with a handful of actors strategically placed to make sure that the energy is supposed to be where it's supposed to be by their reaction. The more they react, the more you react. But when I left Chris Angel and we weren't allowed into Vanderpump Rules.
Vanderpump Paris.
Yeah, Vanderpump Paris. You and Dana were, but Andy and I were not allowed in. And we were forced to stand outside on the wall. We stood there. I don't know how long you guys were there for, but we stood there for a long enough time that my feet were hurting me. And I'm telling you, we saw the same people. And I'm not talking two people. I'm talking like a group of 8 to 10 individuals. They were never together. They were all separate in a loop. And they kept walking the same loop. And every time they passed us, they were talking about the exact same thing, almost like to the T. I'm convinced that Vegas has people walking the streets that are not actually people walking. Well, they are. They're not robots. That are not tourists. Maybe they're undercover cops or actors, or there are people there. There's a girl in a black bag with polka dots that walked past us like 8 times. There was a guy we called him Mr. Limp Man. And because he had the most outrageous limp I've ever seen, and he kept going by, I'm like, there's Mr. Limp Man again.
You guys were just way too ultra aware. Like, I definitely think that there were some actors in Chris Angel, but like out on like randomly, I don't think so.
I bet you they were cops.
That's like the Truman Show shit. Like, that's too much.
I felt like I was in the Truman Show almost the entire time I was in Vegas.
That's really trippy. Really trippy.
Almost the entire time I was in Vegas, I'm like, this world isn't real.
Okay, can we take a sidebar? Because I do want to tell you this story, and then we'll come back to Vegas, unless you want to continue.
No, I'm good.
I want to tell this
Chris Angel, mind freak.
So I haven't told you this story yet. I told TikTok, but I told you not to watch it because I wanted to save it for the podcast. And
I don't have TikTok.
No, but you can watch TikTok without having it. So when I went on my run the other day, and if you watch my gram, you know the story, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to tell anyways. So I went on a walk run the other day on a trail, and my AirPods died.
That always happens.
Which is always whenever my stories start with my AirPods die, I feel like it's going to be a good one. So I had my crossbody bag on. So I'm walking through this trail, and there's not a lot of people around, but every once in a while, like I'll see somebody, and there's like a ton of families. And so I'm like, okay, I don't see anybody for a bit. And then at the end, at part of this trail, it goes out to the water, like the river, and there's like rocks and stuff. So I was like, I'm going to take a beat here, and like, I'm just going to sit here. And I was like, I'm going to listen.
What's a beat?
I'm going to take a minute.
Oh.
Like, I'm just going to take a beat here because I was running up this
Is
one
that a
part.
saying?
Like, let me take a beat.
Okay.
You've never heard that?
No.
It's a saying.
I've heard of the beat.
No. Let me take a beat. I got the beat. No, like, let me take a beat. Like regroup. You've never
like a heartbeat.
Yeah, it's just like
I've never heard that before.
Oh, well.
No.
We learn something new every day.
I'm sitting here thinking, how's she gonna, like, her earbuds are not working? How's she gonna take a beat?
No. So I go and I sit down on the rocks. And as I was walking up to them, I'm like, you know what? I was listening to this podcast, and I'm like, I'm gonna put it in my crossbody because my earpods aren't working, and I'm just gonna
what in?
My phone.
Oh, okay.
So that I can listen to the podcast. I wanted to finish the podcast, right?
Right.
So the podcast that I'm listening to is called Dying for Sex. And it's not what you think. Well, it is and it isn't.
How could it not be what I think?
Really quickly, it's about these two best friends. It's like true story. These two girls are like the real girls. It's actually by Wandry. Like we do a whole bunch of ads from them. Yeah. It's a really good podcast. So these two best friends, the one best friend gets diagnosed with cancer and then like terminal cancer. And essentially she is in a unfulfilling, unhappy marriage. There's a whole bunch of backstory, but she divorces her husband and goes on this like sexual adventure to like figure out like, no, it's just a lot of sexcapades, and she just is going through all of her like cancer treatment.
This sounds exactly what I was thinking it would
anyway,
like.
it's really good. And so they talk about all of her like time. So at this specific part, she goes on this date in the morning with this guy. She like opened up her dating app and she was having trouble sleeping from like the cocktail of like cancer medications that she was on. So she was like, I often would wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and I would like just scroll, and this one dude happened to be on Bumble or whatever it was. And he's like, do you want to come over? We'll have like a little breakfast date. And she was like, yeah, like I'd love that. So she came over and she opened the door. He's like, she said his pictures were like really cute. He was like really good looking. And so she got to his house and she's like, I didn't see him until like I looked down, and he was like a certified midget or what's the appropriate little person. Sorry. And so she was like, whatever, I feel obligated to come in now. Like I'm not going to like turn away. So she goes in and, they're like sitting down and they kind of like, or he like wants to cuddle, and she's like, I don't know what to do here, but like, I feel like I'm just going to go with it. And he says like, can you start tickling me? Like, let's tickle each other.
What?
So she's like, I didn't know what to do. So like, I was like, okay. So then like, we're kind of like tickling, and like, it's just me tickling him like aggressively. And he gets like a huge boner.
Yes.
Huge boner. And he's like, don't stop. And he's like fucking cackling and like not tickling around his dick, just like in his armpits, like just regular tickle spots. And then he ejaculates and like it comes everywhere from being tickled. It's like a fetish.
So he was naked the whole time he's being tickled?
No, he just like came in his pants.
Oh.
So wait, that's not even it. So I'm fucking listening to the story and there's no one around and I'm like crying laughing because I'm like, what is this? And then I look over and there's a fucking family having a picnic just behind.
No way. No, this is not real life.
I swear to God.
This isn't real life. You just didn't notice. Oh, nobody's here.
Well,
nobody's
listen,
here. Except for that family.
I walked up and like if you go around where the rocks are, there's no one there. You can't see anything. And then as I was like coming back, there's a whole other section that like I didn't realize that you could like walk down, and they're just like fucking sitting there and they're all just staring.
Yeah.
I was like, I will see myself out.
Is it really graphic?
I mean, she's literally like, I was tickling him and he ejaculated everywhere from me tickling him. Like, it was like, these people probably like, what kind of porn is this fucking weirdo?
Do you remember when we watched that sex fetish TV show and they were called the Looners or the Ballooners? The Ballooners?
They would get off when a balloon would pop.
As you're blowing the balloon up, they're blowing up.
Yeah.
And then as the balloon pops, they pop.
Those are real people.
When I pop, you pop.
Real people. Like you would think that's like maybe one in the entire world. There's a whole group of them.
There's a ton of them. Did you
called strange sex?
Strange sex.
Yeah.
There's a
strange sex.
There's a fetish where people like having sex with people dressed up as like teddy
animals.
Bears. An animal. Like,
yeah.
Well, that's bestiality.
No. Like the horsey
teddy
ones.
Bears.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. They were like
yeah. I don't know why I did that.
I'm one of them.
Oh, Brittany, later. Can you ride my unicorn?
Why are you laughing like that?
I'm just trying to breathe.
Was that a laugh or a fucking
That was a horse. That was a horse.
Oh my God, this has escalated so good. Okay, anyway, that's my story, okay?
So back to Vegas.
Back to Vegas. What else did we do there?
Oh my God.
We had a lot of mimosas. That was lovely.
Oh my God.
We had...
how did it get there?
You know...
How did our podcast get there?
Oh, that was...
What was that?
That was a crying unicorn.
Oh my God.
We did do, if you are ever in Vegas or if you're going soon, you need to go see Absinthe. I would see that show like 5 more times. It was the best show I've ever seen in my life.
So I heard something about Absinthe.
Best show ever.
If you went another night, it's a different show. Yeah, there's a bunch of performers. So we saw probably, I think, 8 performers.
Oh my God.
But I believe there's more than double that. So each night has their own specific people.
Right.
And sometimes, like obviously, one might be doing it 3 times.
Sure.
But the show we saw, if we went any other night, we wouldn't have seen that show.
Oh my God. It's incredible. What about like the Gazillionaire and that girl too? They're always consistent? Okay.
Those guys, those 2 are consistent. The Green Fairy's consistent. And by the way, we're not giving anything away here.
But like a general consensus, Absinthe is like a...
it's like Cirque du Soleil meets the carnival.
No, it's like Cirque du Soleil on crack meets like buskers, meets like a raunchy comedy show. Like the people have walked out of this show before because they've been so offended. It's one of those things where like the hosts will come and they will heckle the audience like a comedian would. And like in between each act, they have these things and it was just so good. Like it was so good.
I'll give you an example of this. There was a young man, probably early 20s, beside another young woman, probably early 20s, beside her mother. Mm-hmm. And this guy...
and father.
Oh, he was... I guess
and the grandparents were there.
Old dude beside the
and the grandparents were right beside them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a whole family affair.
Oh, okay.
Don't go with your family.
Or don't sit front row.
God,
if you don't want to get offended, don't sit front row. Right. Anyways, so this poor kid was sitting front row, and he says, "What's going on here? Are you dating her?" Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Yeah." And he cut... That's why I was confused, because I was also drunk. He cut the other part of the family off and just focused on these 3. Anyways, long story short, he said, this guy is either rich and brought his girlfriend and mother-in-law to Vegas, or he's got a huge cock.
Yeah, he's fucking ramming your daughter.
And the mom's like, oh my God. And then he says to the girl, does he have a huge dick? And she looks at her mom, and her mom's like, what? And he said, Sarah. Then he looks at the mom. He's like, don't worry, I'm going to ask you next. And like, so that's the first thing about this. I'm like, I love this show.
At one point, he asks some like grandma, which she would have had to been 70 something, who was like sitting in front of us. He was talking about, again, like dicks or something. Like he was making fun of those young girls in the audience. And then he was like, he turns to her, who was like mid 70s, and he's like, you probably sucked some good dick in your day.
And her husband's like, man.
She did.
Yeah. She doesn't anymore.
Anyway, you have to go see that show. It is so good. Like I would go back and just watch that again.
Oh my God. Incredible. C'est incredible. And there was no actors in there.
No.
Everybody was, it was such a quaint show. There's like an 8-foot stage. It's circular. And you're literally around the stage. So we sat row 2 or 3, and we didn't need to. We didn't know.
It only probably fits like 60, 70 people.
Probably like 200.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm not good at math.
No.
Anyway,
Mind you,
it's a small venue.
There was 60 million.
The chandelier.
Chandeliers. That was wrong.
600 million or whatever it was. Anyway, let's just wrap this up in talking about how, because I don't think we're supposed to go back to Vegas next year for a wedding, which I think will be such a bomb experience. But we're talking about like, a lot of people go to Vegas a lot. Like they love to party and they make this like a trip that they go often. I don't think that I need to go back to Vegas. Like I'll go back for sure for this wedding, maybe like a bachelorette, like, but I don't have a desire to go back and do Vegas again, because I definitely think it's a place that you need to experience because it's a different vibe out there. It's just like you said, it's very contagious to
never said that.
No, it wasn't you who said that. Now that I said it, somebody else asked me that.
I said it was tiring.
No, but it's a contagious sense of like you're tired, but everyone else, it's like the worst FOMO.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you want
FOMO
to
all day long, like to a point where Andy was like, "We're only here for 4 days, so I'm gonna do everything."
And this is one of them. And it was like he just came off his night shift.
He is a firefighter. He didn't sleep for 24 hours. Then got on a plane.
Yeah, he was like, "Let's go."
Then stayed up to 3:30 in the morning local time.
And so I felt like I didn't have a leg to stand on. No, to complain.
I'm like, I can't.
I'm
complain.
like, I'm so tired. Look at Andy. He's like,
if Andy wants to do anything, I'm going to say yes.
I know. It was fabulous.
So I was talking to a client today about this exact same thing, because we were saying that, and he said, "Well, did you do the day clubs or did you do the night clubs?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, we did the day clubs. He's like, did you do any nightclubs? I said, no. He's like, there are two different Vegases. There's Vegas day and there's Vegas night.
That's true. We didn't do any of that.
You either need to experience Vegas day or you need to experience Vegas night. It's very difficult to do both.
Yes.
And we were Vegas day on every single one of the 4 days we were there.
And it bled
He said to me, next time you go to Vegas, flip it. Chill during the day, maybe hang out by your pool, then take a midday nap, and then do Vegas night. He said, you do Vegas night, and you will have probably the same experience, but a totally different experience that's worth experiencing.
I could definitely see that because I think that if we had stayed longer, or we do go back, I would like to experience Fremont Old Vegas at night because it is a different experience at night. It's just far from the strip, so you need to like make that your adventure, but it's hard to do after like your full day. No, but
he was saying the nightclubs. He said the nightclubs are out of this world.
I understand that. I just like, I also look at us too, like, I don't love clubbing. Like, I've never loved clubbing.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
We're very much more like live music people. So I feel like that would be a very interesting, I mean, we would still do it, but like, I don't know if I would love that as much as somebody who enjoys like going out and clubbing. Like, I like to dance and stuff, but I'd prefer to go see like a live music band on the patio or something. That's my vibe.
But if you're into like Crazy Heat, great
ex-band members performing magical shows,
if you're into drinking with your spouse and laughing with your spouse and having a grand old time for 4 straight days with very limited sleep, I do highly recommend Las Vegas.
Right.
Oh, by the way, Las Vegas is Las Vegas, not Vegas. I couldn't find Vegas at the airport.
What do you mean?
The alphabet, it was going down alphabetically, and I went to V and I'm like, I can't find our flight. Dana's like, it's right here. I'm like, Las Vegas. It's not Vegas. Where are you flying, Vegas? Who says I'm flying to Las Vegas? Now, I do know it is Las Vegas. I just had a brain fart.
Yeah, goddamn right.
Yeah, goddamn right I did.
I goddamn right. Anyway, let's wrap this up. We hope you guys have a fabulous... When's this coming out? Tuesday? Hope you have a fabulous Wednesday morning tomorrow.
Or Tuesday.
It depends on when they're listening to this. Hope you guys are doing great.
Happy Tuesday. Or Thursday. Maybe this is a Sunday for you. Either way, live it up. Peace out. A-Town.
There goes a sight from my soul.